Hey, and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. And welcome to the B-movie review of Dinoshark. So Dinoshark is a straight-to-TV horror film, obviously a creature feature. You've seen a lot of these kind of films, and they normally involve two creatures fighting one or another, but this one isn't. It's just this is really just a kind of a very, very similar story to the original Jaws film, and it even has very similar music, amusingly. The idea is the solar ice caps are kind of melting, and it's kind of released these sort of baby. They're not sharks; they actually call them plesiosaurs or something, but they're basically aquatic dinosaurs. So one of them travels south and heads towards the sort of coast of Mexico, kills a few people on the way, and eventually it basically starts chowing down this residents of this sort of coastal sort of area, coastal village or whatever. And you've got a kind of a small group of people led by Eric Balfour, I think his name is. His sort of character actor, you may have seen some things like Buffy and 24. And he's kind of like this tour guide, and it's the sort of first one to sort of really see it and sort of survive. And he sort of convinces some friends, and they basically set off to try and kill it. So this has got some good and bad points of this film. So let's start with the bad. There are some extremely illogical decisions that are made. For example, when the main character sort of first sees it, and his kind of girlfriend, I guess, sees it as well, they decide not to tell anyone initially because they don't think people will believe them. Although there have been a variety of deaths, including two Coast Guard and their entire boat, but they don't think anyone will believe at least something is in the water. I mean, people just write it off to a shark, but this thing's already destroyed a whole Coast Guard's boat. So that was the kind of the first thing. There's also you have some stupid examples of people jumping into the water for really no apparent reason. There's one where there's a scene where it's attacking as kind of like a water polo match, and there's a girl that's sort of like frozen in the water. One girl jumped in to sort of try and save her, and she kind of like is pulling her back. And then just as they're about to get out of the water, another guy jumps in and basically just gets eaten. And there was no real point of him jumping in. They were just kind of getting out of the water as is. So things like that. And there's also a scene where the creature comes way too into shallow water for it to possibly have we're talking a couple of feet of water. To sort of really, and to sort of eat this crocodile. That was a bit of a stupid scene. And the actual creature itself sort of looks like it's changing size. You'll see some model shots close up where it kind of bites down on someone, and their head is sort of like, basically it was kind of, yay big, and it can kind of, probably bite one person. But then you got other shots sort of like where the creature's kind of like a CG effect, and it's literally jumping in, sort of destroying boats and things, and even a helicopter at one point. So it kind of changes size. The acting's a bit. The main character, played by Eric Balfour, I think his name is. I can't pronounce his name. He's not too bad. He's a fairly sort of established actor, if not the most well-known person. But I've seen him in quite a few things. And some of the sort of the supporting characters aren't too bad. They're sort of but his kind of main sort of love interest, although there's very little romance in this film. But the kind of the female lead, I suppose, she not the best, I have to be honest with you, and she has this sort of obsession with putting her glasses up and down, and in some scenes she's got them up, and some scenes she's got them down. It's meant to be the same scene. She's not the best. I've got a feeling her lines are overdubbed as well, as are a few other sort of like extras and things like that. And some of the extras getting onto them, they'll obviously just have a few lines here and there. Obviously not sort of full-time actors or what have you, and again their lines are, sometimes a little bit sort of stiff. But we have to bear in mind the budget of this film. So I know whenever you have these low-budget films, if Eric Balfour is the biggest star they can get, then some of these sort of like just one-line actors are gonna be are not going to be professional actors at all. Although I have a feeling it sounded like a lot of these lines were overdubbed, and you kind of didn't have that kind of natural feel a lot of the time. So the other thing is, I guess, the story really isn't very original. But so let's be honest, we're not looking for an original story in a film called Dinoshark. It really is. It is just a, you know, it is just Jaws. It is practically the same plot as Jaws. So what did I like about it? Well, normally with these straight to TV movie sort of creature features, you always have this subplot, or you a lot of the time you have this subplot where it to sort of take the sort of time away from the monster, normally involving some sort of gangsters or something like that. Some of the subplot that you just don't care about, that is just there to sort of make the running time, so you don't have to have lots of creature effects. I've seen it in so many of these films, and I'm really pleased that this one doesn't have that. They're really that the whole plot is dealing with this this creature. There's no other sort of subplots involving stupid like gangsters or some sort of cooperation or things like that. So that was the first thing. So it was refreshing to have like a TV movie like that. The CGI on the creature now, although it's not you know, we're not talking mega high budget, really realistic, I didn't think was all that bad. I've seen a few of these creature features, and some of the times it just looks stupid. It doesn't look like it's there. But there's actually some great shots. The shots that look, I think, really good is where the camera's kind of sort of high, obviously, you know, by a helicopter or something, and you kind of see the creatures swimming under the water. That, to me, that looks really effective, and I think they've done a pretty decent job with the majority of the CGI. Yes, there are places where it does look obviously CGI and things like that. When you tend to have close-ups of it, if it's biting people, I think they use practical effects. But this is where I'm thinking it looks like it's changing size. But then overall, the CGI, you know, is fairly decent for this type of film. You know, for this type of film, I will, you know, emphasise that. Like I said, the acting, certainly from the lead actor, I think is fairly decent as well. Again, for, you know, straight to TV B movie, and you know, I actually had a fairly good sense of fun with it. I wasn't bored with this film. I was quite engaged. So I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. Personally, I quite enjoyed it. If they had just maybe tightened up a few bits of it, I actually think this would be a real hidden gem. I think my last thoughts on it were the last kind of act where it's kind of the big, you know, it's kind of swam into the sort of like the residential areas. That looks, there are some sort of things that just annoy me with that. Just kind of the way it's done, just the way it's sort of acting. And like I said, there's a few sort of illogical things that happen within that kind of last third of the film. And it's a shame, because if they had maybe tightened it up, it would have been, you know, a fairly decent film. Maybe not the most original film, but you know, I can accept the fact that maybe the CGI isn't brilliant, because we're talking about, you know, a straight to TV movie on a relatively small budget. So I can actually accept that. Can you? So this is going to be the question. Did you enjoy it? And how do you feel it compares to other creature features? Leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later.